Hey everyone, welcome to my Q&A. We'll very quickly answer a question from Simi Lexus, which is, will you do anything special for your 1K? Well, the answer to that is yes, I'm doing this. um, I realise I may have jumped the gun a little bit. I put out this video for the Q&A questions um, before I reached 1,000 subscribers, and that was because I think on this, like last weekend, I get more subscribers during the weekend anyway, but I was getting something crazy like 50 or 60 subscribers a day, and I remember how difficult it was for me to get my first 50 subscribers, and to get that in a day, it just blows my mind. So I got really excited and sort of happy, and I didn't want to miss the 1,000 um, people. But what I want to say is a massive thank you, and never thought I'd actually make it this far. So thank you guys so much for supporting me through this. This has actually really helped with some illness, and it's helped me get out of bed in the morning, and it's helped me gradually ease my way back into everyday life. So you guys supporting my channel, it feels like you're supporting my health and supporting my well-being and all that kind of stuff. I know that's a bit sappy, but I'm really appreciative of that. But as you're watching this, you'll probably see in front of your eyes that I've got a room build going on in the background. I haven't done any of these before. So if you like them, then I can do some more of them. If they're not really your thing, but you want to see them every now and then, let me know. But if you don't like them at all, also let me know. But I'll get into the actual questions now. So the other question that Simi Lexus asked was, have I ever seen Zoe 101? Yes, I have. I watched it when I was little. Yeah, I used to watch it all the time. I know this is weird, but whenever I hear like a character or like someone in real life, or even like a sim called Zoe, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know if I'm the only one, and I know I'm not the only person in the world with my name, but it does kind of freak me out when I hear someone else's name. I don't know why. So our next question was from Jasmine, and she asked, what got you started building in The Sims? I actually, when I was younger, I wanted to be an architect. I found out later that I wasn't good enough at mechanics, so I couldn't do it. But I was always interested in architecture and interior design and that kind of thing. So when I was younger and I was around my grandparents' house, what they would do is they would draw out an outline for me, and then I would of like a house, and then I would design the interior, and I'd put my bedroom and my siblings' bedrooms and like my parents' bedrooms and how the lounge was and the like living area was going to be and all that kind of stuff. And that's something I used to do for fun as a 7-year-old. Actually, building in The Sims. In Sims 1, I didn't actually do a lot of building. It was mostly just getting into the gameplay. But I think I started actually building properly in The Sims 2. It was really bad. But yeah, I think that's what I started building. Rory from Rory Plays The Sims asks, where do you search for inspiration for your builds? I get most of my inspiration from my builds from everyday life, like what's around me and what I see. But if I'm outwardly sort of searching for something, if I'm really stuck, or I need to find like imagery of a certain thing, of a certain idea, I actually go to Pinterest. I really like the quality of the images on there, and the variety of different things that you can see there too. Favorite pizza topping. Hmm. Now this is a really tricky one. I really like vegetarian pizzas, or vegetarian pizzas, but then with like chicken on it or something like that. Um, I actually really like onions on pizza, and maybe mushrooms too. I can tell that some of you are gonna be cringing at that, like, ew, how can you like that? But I actually really like it. I really like veggies on my pizza. And favorite book. Um, the first thing that comes to my mind is an author called Garth Nix. I've read most of his books, and I love them so much. There's so many series that I love, and I think they're really great. But I don't think I could pick a book that he's written. He's written so many good ones. Um, I guess I could put him as maybe my favorite author instead, but my favorite book would maybe be Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I think that's the only book that I've actually read twice, so that's quite an honor. I think the film is actually not very good in comparison to the movie. They leave out loads and loads of things I think that were really, really crucial or really, really interesting to the storyline, and it was kind of disappointing not to see them. It was still a good film, I think, but really lacking in comparison to the film. We've got a question from Cutie Chin. She asked, "What's your favorite build?" And it doesn't have to be my own, and it's got a swagger emoji. um, well, I know this isn't what you asked, but out of your builds, my favorites are the Illuminati one because that's the first one I came across on your channel, and it made me laugh so hard. I really, really loved it. It was the first time I'd seen anything like that. Um, Probably had you asked me this question, like, or you didn't even ask me this question, but out of your builds, probably if you had actually asked me a week ago, I would have said your Cinderella Palace, but I really like your version of the fairy castle, mostly because it's so much better than mine. But yeah, I think it's really, really good. Out of everyone's, um, again, I won't be able to pick one. Some of my favorites would be uh, the Thai Palace by Freezer Bunny and maybe the Steampunk House by Simproved. Actually, there's a whole load by Simproved that I could put as my favorites. And out on my own, uh, I think the Chinese Water Garden, because that was the first build that I put out, and I really thought, yeah, this is the kind of quality of build I want to be releasing on my channel. Like, this is the level, this is what I want. Um, so I think that would be my favorite just because of that, and also because I've got that really cool music in it. But yeah, Zelda also asked, I think this was on Twitter, who are your favorite Sim family slash townie? I've never thought about this before. If I'll be honest, I don't actually play normally as the townies. I normally just well, I play with them. Possibly like they'll be friends of my family, but I've never had them as the people that I played. I think I'm gonna be completely and utterly unoriginal and say the Goth family. um, they're in almost all of my gameplays. Like they're either friends or enemies or something like that. At least one of them is in, I guess, my own storyline, so I'd have to say them. Then I've got another question from Marika. I'm really sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but she asked, "Can we send fan mail?" I'm really, really honoured to hear you say that. Uh, but I'll be honest, I think you're the only one who would want to send me something. But thank you so much for wanting to send me something. As things are right now, I'd have to say no. I'm actually going to move very soon, so setting up a PO box here would be pretty much pointless. I'm also not very sure how long I'm going to stay or where I'm going to stay after I move from where I am now. So I think firstly I want to wait until there's more of a demand, um, but then secondly I also want to wait until I'm in a more stable place and there's a PO box that I can set up and go to regularly. But yeah, thank you so much. I was really shocked to hear this that you would want to do that. So thank you. Okay, so the next question is from Evo, and he says, "How many times do I have to tell you to do the washing before you do it?" If you haven't gathered, this is my boyfriend. You might have seen him put some little sappy comments on my videos before, but the day he asked this, he went to sleep and asked me to put the wash on for him, so that he had a pair of jeans for when he woke up, and I forgot. I'm really sorry. Apparently, tens of millions of times. The next question is from Rayam, and she asks, which Sims version do you like the most and why? I actually like The Sims 4. I know that a lot of people disagree with me, and a lot of people feel very, very strongly about the Sims games which they like. But and it might be that because I haven't played the others in such a long time, I've kind of forgotten what they're like. But from my memories of Sims 3 at least, I thought that, especially with the kind of CC that was normally used, it was getting to the point where the Sims were actually looking so realistic that they kind of look like creepy dolls in the end. And I know that's probably going to really, really offend some people. But they were almost too lifelike, and it was a bit too freaky. So I really, really like the, I guess, aesthetic of The Sims 4, where it's cartoony, but I just think the graphics are really, really beautiful, especially in like the towns and the cities. I also think that The Sims are the most developed and the most lifelike than they ever have been before. Um, and I think in terms of that, um, I feel like this is a much more rounded game than others that have come before it. Again, like I said, some of you are going to disagree with that. The next question we've got is from Alf, and they asked, um, well, they wanted to know, how did I become an amazing builder throughout the months or years? Well, thank you for calling me amazing builder. Um, I'll be honest with you, it's something quite simple, and it all comes down to practice. Um, if you if you've ever taken an art class, what they'll first get you to do before they get you to do any creative process on your own is they'll get you to copy um, previous artists and to look at things in front of you and to copy them. And the reason why they do that is that they want you to be able to learn the skills and build up the technique so that when you then go to um, make your own things and make things sort of with your inspiration and your unique twist on it and your creative outlet, you'll have the technique to back you up so that when you then um, unleash your creativity, I guess, it will then be to a high quality. And I think that's something that very much relates back to The Sims as well. So doing things like watching pre-existing builders and practicing, the things that they do. I'm not saying to copy like brick for brick what they've done and then upload it as your own and like do exactly the same in every single spot. I'm not saying that. But on your own, in your own time, if you do want to improve your building, take inspiration from people that you've seen and people on the gallery and try and recreate what they've made. And then you can use that knowledge which you've gained from copying them in your own time and practicing, and you'll be able to put it into your own work like an artist would. But like I said before, it all comes down to practice. You just got to do it over and over again, and no one becomes the best builder. There's always room for improvement. So just keep at it, and yeah, that's how I got there. I guess how I am now. The next question is from Gaming Cookie, and they ask, if you could be an animal for a day, what would you be and why? Love you. Love you too. First thing that comes to mind is a bird, but honestly, I'm scared of heights, so that probably wouldn't be the best thing. I think maybe I'd want to be underwater, maybe. So maybe like a dolphin, or maybe some like a fish that's in the coral reef, or like a turtle or something. I think being able to feel the currents and sort of weaving in and out of the corals and stuff like that, and experiencing what that would be like. Um, if it wasn't for a day, there would probably be a cat, because cats, all they do is they get cuddled all day and lay around and sleep. And I think that would be an amazing life. But anyway, on to the next question. Danny asked me 4 questions, and I'm only going to answer 2 of them if that's okay. So the first question was, how old are you? I'm 21. And the second one is, what is your fondest memory? I'd say I have quite a few fond memories, but I have been asked this question before, and the answer that I gave last time was I was actually spending time with my family in the South Downs, and my grandma was actually really sick. And we were walking down in the South Downs, and we were making our way back home. And it's such a beautiful place. If you haven't heard of it, I suggest looking up the South Downs in United Kingdom. But she was sick and she couldn't really walk on her own, and so she said that I can be her walking stick and hold her hand and help her back to the car. And the sun was setting and it was really beautiful, and there were like horses grazing around us and stuff like that. And that was actually one of the last memories that I had with my grandma. So it's really, really dear to me, that one. Sorry that that's a little bit of a downer, but yeah, that'd probably be one of my fondest memories. Next few questions are from Anita. Hello. Um, there's one which I'm not going to answer, which is, who is your favorite sim YouTuber? I could never pick that. I I'd have to pick in very, very um, intricate subcategories of which ones were my favorite for each like tiny little thing. Um, there's too many sim YouTubers that I like to pick. So the first question that you asked was, what is your favorite Sims trait across all Sims games you've played? I'm gonna pick which one is one that I'm gonna pick one that I obviously don't rate very highly in real life, but I think is something that's really, really valuable for the game and makes it very, very entertaining, and something that I think is essential to The Sims. And I don't think that the game would be as good as it is now without it. And that is the evil trait. I think that having the ability of, things not being all happy and lucky and that kind of thing is really, really important. And having that mixed in with your gameplay is really cool, actually. Like I said, I don't like evil people. I just sometimes like the option of having evil Sims. And the second question I'm going to answer is, what slash who inspired you to start a simming YouTube channel? Well, the first two Sims YouTubers that I came across was Delicacy and The English Simmer. And I used to watch them a lot. I used to watch them a lot, a lot, a lot. And then I started branching out to The Sim Supply. I also started watching The Tides Changing, and also Urban Sims, and a few others. So, and as I sort of delved more into the community and started seeing other areas, I started to feel more inspired. But I guess they were the original ones, the original ones that got me into the Sims YouTube community. So I'd say that they were the first people to sort of plant the seeds, I guess. Um, but I couldn't pinpoint down to you who was the person who made me think I want to give this a go. I want to start it. But because it was very back and forth. I was like, do I want to do it? Do I not? Do I want to? Do I not? And I think actually it was possibly some of the people that I've met more recently that really encouraged me to actually, I guess, pull the trigger and actually do it. But like I said, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint down to you who they were. Joe asks, have you ever played My Sims or My Sims Bleh, or My Sims Kingdom when you were younger? I saw them, but I didn't actually have a Nintendo DS or a Nintendo Wii at the time when they were out, so I wasn't able to play them. I really, really wanted to though. If you do watch this video, let me know what they were like in the comments. I'd really like to know if they were as good as what I thought they were going to be. Films by Elif asks, hello Zoe, I want to ask which part of the UK are you from? Your accent sounds really nice. Thank you very, very much. I'm actually originally from the southeast of England, not in London, but close by. And Brian also asks, how long does each video take to make? Um, I won't be able to tell you exactly because every build is different, obviously. Um, I speed up all my builds by 9, so it's times 9, so 900% of the speed that it was originally. I also then have to, so that will give you a rough idea of the building time that I did, but then there's also most of the builds that I do, I also have practice time that I sort of practice and mess around with the build so that when I then build it, it's in better, like it's quicker. And then there's also editing time on top of that, so that should probably give you a good idea of how long it takes me to make these. But I think that's it for all the questions. Thank you so much for sticking with me this long. Um, I've recorded this and it's actually lasted a really long time of me answering the questions. So I'm really sorry if your question was skipped. I don't want this to be a ridiculously long video, which I have a feeling it's going to be because I rambled. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you again so much for the 1,000 subscribers, and hopefully I can see you again soon. Okay, bye.